Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Training Block Check-in number 5, where I will be breaking down my last 4 weeks of training, telling you everything that happened, looking at both the stuff that was good and the stuff that was bad, so that you can learn from all of my successes and my mistakes that I make along the way. For those of you that are new here, my name is John Wetmore. I am a former college football offensive lineman who is now on a bodybuilding and weight loss journey. And would you look at that? Who put that spiffy new title down there? Yeah, I graduated from college a few weeks ago with my bachelor's degree in exercise science. So now I have that new spiffy title to flaunt, which I may start using like Dr. Mike Israetel and just start throwing that in the phrase exercise scientist into the title of every single video I make, just so that people go, whoa, he's a real scientist. He has to know what he's talking about, right? In terms of my fitness related goals in life, I am aiming to lose weight while keeping all of my muscle mass, as well as rehabbing my hand that I broke a bone in. And eventually, one day, I want to lean out enough and become good enough at posing to compete in a bodybuilding show, with the idea of competing in June of 2027, as there's a show not that far from where I live around that time of year. Looking at long-term goals, I am down 24 pounds from 300 pounds where I started this whole journey at, down to 276, with the goal of losing 60 pounds long term, which puts me at 40% of the way to achieving that goal weight of 240 pounds. Hand rehab went really good this training block. I didn't have any days where I felt truly limited in my training by it. I made some exercise switches that I really liked that really helped out with that, which I will be touching on later on, talking about the lifting part of the program. Short-term goals were rougher this block. The goal is to lose 4 pounds. Only up dropping 2.6, which has me feeling a bit mixed, as yes, progress was made, the scale went down. I feel like I look a bit better too, just visually, although, it's never an easy feeling to set a goal and not accomplish it. That is, yeah, it's not like it was even close either. I mean, not even within 75%, which, yeah, doesn't have me feeling good, but at least I didn't go backwards, is what I'm thinking right now. This time around, I goofed with the measurement keeping. The tape measure I used to sort of measure all the parts of my body, like measure my arms, measure my waist, all that sort of stuff. I lost that, and I didn't find it until it was week 3 of program. So yeah, no measurements happened this time. So not the end of the world. I'll have measurements for next time, and if things don't look better there, then things, we're gonna start asking some serious questions. But yeah, still got progress pictures, which I think are more important anyway, where I'm fairly happy with how things are looking. I think the most improvement can be seen in my back and rear delts. I think they're starting to actually look good instead of just not bad. Forearms are also looking more vascular. You can definitely see the veins a bit better going everywhere. Then you also can tell I've lost some mass around the midsection, as I'm wearing the same cutoff in both sets of pictures this time, and it appears to fit much looser. And also, whenever my arms go above my head, the shirt comes up a little bit less. So yeah, that's nice. This block was a hypertrophy focused block, so we're looking on just maintaining as much size as humanly possible, maybe adding a little bit more muscle mass. So we're looking at pushing some moderately heavy weight for a good amount of reps, with the big change from last time going from mostly sets of 12 to mostly sets of 10. I also made a change in the order of the training split, flipping around my push and pull days, as I think my back and buys aren't looking nearly as good as my chest and tries. So moving them forward allows for more intensity to be put into them. This also, I think, has part of the reason why earlier I said, hey, I think my back is looking a lot better. I think this change right here is a big part of that, which leaves us at the final split of pull day Monday, push day Tuesday, leg day Wednesday, cardio, forearms, and abs on Thursday, upper body on Friday, and rest on Sunday. I'm also very happy with how all the exercises felt. So when breaking down each individual day, if I don't touch on any exercise, it is safe to assume that it was very good. Lastly, in the corner of each segment, you will see the workout card with the sets and reps. Any set that has a plus sign after the reps means that set was taken till failure, which is the case for many of the final sets of each exercise on weeks 2 through 4. Pull day was composed of 4 sets of 10 on assisted pull-ups, incline dumbbell curls, 3 sets of 10 on dumbbell chest-supported rows, cable rear delt flies, and barbell shrugs, and finished the day with 2 sets of 10 on dumbbell curls. Dumbbell chest-supported rows and cable rear delt flies were both new movements added into this block, both being exceptional movements. Only knock I have is that it can be kind of tough to breathe at times on the chest-supported rows. Besides that, they are stellar. Assisted pull-ups are continually an all-star exercise for me. Excellent back builder. Amazing pump you get from them. I cannot recommend doing these enough if you are somebody that cannot do pull-ups and is still working towards maybe doing their first, or maybe can only do 1 or 2. Start adding in assisted pull-ups. They're going to make you better at the movement of pulling up. It's going to help you tremendously at being able to do more pull-ups. Push day was composed of 4 sets of 10 on tempo barbell bench, seated lateral raises, and overhead cable tricep extensions. 3 sets of 10 on machine chest press, and 2 sets of 10 on decline dumbbell skull crushers. Last video I touched on the decline dumbbell skull crushers, saying they're kind of an odd feeling exercise for me. I wasn't really sure if they were going to work out great. Was I going to keep doing them? Were they going to get axed after this one? And I'm happy to say that I'm glad I didn't axe them. They are feeling tremendous at this point in time. They're rising the ranks through my favorite tricep exercises. I actually recommend giving these a shot in your own programs that you're running. Looking at other exercises on stage, a change I made in this day was replacing the pec deck with the machine chest press, which I didn't touch on this last video, but the pec deck was starting to lose some of its pump and soreness I was getting. It just started feeling stale, like something needed to change. And yeah, for those of you at home that maybe you're looking for indicators that an exercise may need to get replaced, yeah, if it's not providing that pump, you're not really getting sore from it, you're not progressing very much on it, or you're actually regressing on it, those are all telltale signs that, hey, we gotta swap this exercise out, get something new in. Adaptive resistance is built up. Time to change it out with something else. Right. Leg day was composed of 4 sets of 8 on back squat, 3 sets of 10 on barbell RDLs, and a single leg press calf raises, and finished the day with 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps on kettlebell tibialis raises. Back squats at this point for me have become both insanely physically and mentally fatiguing. They're really good exercise, but due to the sheer amount of muscular volume, like the percentage of muscles on your body that are involved in back squatting, taking them till failure just leaves me at the point where I cannot function as a normal person for the rest of the day after a leg day. So these are getting replaced next block, but not because they're a bad exercise, just because the way I push them leaves me out of commission for too long and is interrupting my day to day life. Cardio forms and abs day was the next day in the week. And I think it was also the day that changed it up the most for me, replacing the flexion and extension movements with some grip strength work and some radial deviations in the hand, which are something I really haven't done a lot for my messed up hand. And they've actually helped a lot for my hands and wrists. I think they're a big part of it hurting a lot less during this block as compared to the others, as well as helping strengthen the movement pattern of radial deviation, which has been pretty weak for me. As you can see, one of these bends in a lot farther than the other, which is not ideal. The day was composed of 3 sets of 10 decline sit-ups, 3 sets of 45-second fat grip trap bar holds, and 3 sets of 12 on those dumbbell radial deviations. I'm actually a really big fan of the trap bar fat grip holds. Uh, Honestly, half the reason I added these was because I've owned a pair of fat grips for years and I've never used them until now. And I'm just happy that I found an exercise that I actually like and is doing good work that I can use them on. It makes me feel a little less bad about just keeping them stashed away for all those years. Upper day was composed of 4 sets of 10 dumbbell incline bench and plate loaded chest supported rows, 3 sets of 10 seated dumbbell shoulder press and cable lateral raises, and finished the day with a superset of dumbbell hammer curls and tricep pushdowns, both for 2 sets of 10. Moving flat press to earlier in the week, I think was a really good move in terms of prioritizing the things I want to get better at, and replacing it with the dumbbell incline bench was a move I really liked because I really enjoy dumbbell incline bench, and moving that flat press into earlier week is also working really well for me because that is one of the movements I actually want to get better at with that flat press. On the other hand, I want to bench 315 again. It has been so long since I've been able to, and I just want to get back to the point where I can. Uh, Also, axing a rear delt movement from this day, I think it was a good choice. Volume was already insanely high on this day. It also just added unnecessary time to the workout. Upper day was already a long day, and adding in that extra 3 sets. I mean, granted, it was part of a superset, but just having all that extra volume and time was just made Fridays a drag to get through. Lower day was the most stereotypical gym bro leg day you could ever think of. It was just 3 sets of 10 on quad extensions, prone leg curls, calf raises. No notes for this day. Everything on here solid. Uh, yes, it did help a lot lowering the total amount of lower body volume in this block. It I feel so much better this way. My body just feels a lot better. I feel like and I can actually do things outside of training. Um, Especially even in terms of cardio. Cardio used to suck so much just because my legs would be so jacked up from the amount of lower body lifting volume I had in there. So I think making that change has made everything a lot more tolerable, especially cardio. Recapping this entire training blocks lifting portion, the only change that I'll make that didn't really hit me immediately until later in the block is to take week 2 a little bit easier. I think trying to rush the intensity and chasing heavier weights is sort of stunting my ability to fully recover from one block to the next and just accumulating a ton of fatigue, which has me really dying near the end of a block, especially after that week 4 leg day. I am a zombie for that day and probably the next couple. And I think taking a little bit easier on the main compounds, especially during week 2, will do wonders in helping me push harder late into the blocks when I am truly trying to empty that tank, give it everything I have, because I know I have that deload coming the next week. Diet was definitely a little rougher this block. I seen earlier the weight loss wasn't really there, which is just a total volume of food thing. I'm just eating too much food, which, I mean, is something, in your head you don't really want to make that connection. Something else has to be the problem. It can't be because I'm eating too much food. Fuck, who would have thought of that? Um, yeah, so that was one I didn't even really get until these are obviously recorded a decent amount of time after the training block is over, but this didn't really occur to me until 2 weeks into the next block. So next block's also not going to be great in terms of weight loss. Spoiler alert for you, but finally figured out. Just maybe you should drop the calories, eat less, eat better food for you. Um, yeah, I have everything I need. I got the little digital scale, um, plenty of meal prep containers. I just have to actually lock in on doing it, which, yeah, that's definitely tough because, yes, enough with the scripted stuff. It's one of those things where you know exactly what you have to do, exactly what you have to do to succeed and reach your goals. But doing it is such a difficult task when it's so much easier not to. It is so much easier to go to McDonald's, Wendy's, or whatever fast food place. You get a little snack after work instead of coming back home, grilling up a chicken breast, taking that down. It's it's one of those things where you know exactly what you have to do. It just sucks to actually do it. And that little thing in your brain is just not it's not always there locked in wanting to do what's tough and what's going to actually get you to your goals, which is something that I guess, you know, obviously talking like this, I mean, it's finally setting like, damn, actually got to do it. Um, well, now, like obviously this is recorded much later in time, but I think I'm finally doing that. As you probably, hopefully you saw it. I did upload a meal prep and cooking video, like a week ago, maybe longer. I don't know when this video is coming out, and there might be, or there should be, another one coming shortly after it. So yeah, finally figuring that meal prep stuff out, and finally getting good food in, and doing what it takes to accomplish my goals. Other than that, in terms of nutritional stuff, supplements, only real change from last time was, I talked about this last time, adding an extra 5 grams of creatine to what I've been taking, which puts me at the 15-ish mark every single day of 15 grams of creatine a day. Uh, for pre-workout, I was taking the same brand as last time. It was the Beyond Raw Lit new 2.0 formula. That one's actually really good. I recommend it. And pre-workout nutrition's also been exactly the same, and just a few pouches of fruit snacks. It is so good. It is pretty much pure carbs. It's very, very cheap, especially when it is, if you're looking at it macro wise, it is this. There's this product called Cream of Rice. You've probably heard of it. People on TikTok and Instagram are constantly trying to sell it to you. It has the exact same macros as that stuff at a third to half the price, depending on how bougie of fruit snacks you get. But yeah, yeah, highly recommend it. And I will die on that hill that fruit snacks are a tremendous pre-workout snack. Looking towards the future, goal remains the same: lose some body fat. Uh, Goal next block is to drop down to 272 pounds, going for 4 pounds in 4 weeks. Uh, we're gonna be doing this, making some changes in nutrition, just eating better. We're also looking at another hypertrophy focused block next time. Major changes being dropping the reps by a couple down to mostly sets of 8, and then swapping out the exercises that aren't working too well. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on next block's episode. If you want to see more of me, there is a link tree below containing my Instagram and TikTok where I post my short form content, as well as a Patreon page where I upload all of my lifting programs for completely free. So if you want this block's program or a previous block's program, go check it out there. It has all of that stuff there. Yeah, that's all I have for you, amazing people, today. Until I see you again, God bless. Cardio forms and abs was the next day that changed the most for me. Why did I word it like that? That is not very good. Who the fuck wrote this script?